No. Picasso nag-check ng mouse eh. Picasso. Tingin ka. Picasso, tingin ka. Picasso. Psst. Tingin ka. Mag-hi ka. Hello. Mag-hello ka na, Picasso. Binawal na hindi mo kinausap yung mga tao. Ayan, mag-hi daw si Picasso, guys. Malapit ng birthday daw niya. Baka naman, alam niyo naman si Picasso, ano na yan, senior na yan. Senior citizen na yan kahit wala sa itsura. Kahit cutie pie pa rin yan. Senior citizen na yan. Kaya, yun lang. Okay, yung mga, makakailangan na ng adult diaper yan, no? At saka kailangan ng bagong taon na kasi, kaya kailangan ganun. Mag-hi ka, Picasso. Hello. Yan, mag-hi. Namimiss daw kayo ni Picasso. Marami kasi kaming mga live together throughout the years, kaya magpapasalamat daw siya na sa inyong bait, sa inyong suporta, sa inyong continued patronage dito sa maliit natin show. Okay? Kasi mag-hi ka muna bago ka tatakas. Alam ko, gusto mo nang tumakas. Medyo shy ito eh. Tignan mo yan, Picasso. Tignan mo yan. Alright, guys. Kamusta naman kayo dyan? Andito na tayo on the eve of a new year. Talagang in the final hours na po tayo ng 2024. Yung fair ball talaga si Picasso. So, gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa inyo and also share some few reflections. Yeah, share some few reflection politically but otherwise. Kasi alam naman natin, hindi lang politika ang buhay. At alam naman natin, hindi lang tayo hanggang politika lang. Kaya ang dami nagbabash sa atin sa mga pinapost natin na sayawan, mga pinapost natin ukol sa mga kung ano-anong bagay. Yung mga martial arts natin, yung mga nagfi-feeling dyan, nagka-comment pa sa mga kicking style natin. Sige, mag-black belt muna kayo sa sa Manila. Tingnan natin. Anyways, magpakabait na tayo. Okay, Picasso, balikan. Alam ko na gusto mo na bumalik sa mami. Ay, sorry. Yan, balik ko na sa mami mo. Okay. Ito to guys. Ito guys. Ito na guys. Yes, Picasso. Wait lang. Gusto niya na yata bumalik. Okay. Oh, go back to your mommy. Namiss na yung mommy niya. Okay. Ito na guys. Thank you so much again sa inyong suporta through and through the year. Masasabi natin na 2024 was really quite a challenging year. Ang daming mga ups and downs. Including of course some more personal setbacks, losing Lola and not having her with us this year, for this December and New Year. Of course, masakit po yan. At the same time, of course, there have been a couple of other setbacks na wag na lang natin pag-usapan. But at the same time, talagang nagpapasalamat tayo sa inyo dahil itong show na ito, itong maliit natin podcast po ay nagbibigay sa atin ng lakas at nagbibigay sa atin ng inspirasyon para tuloy-tuloy lang po ang ginagawa natin. So what do we exactly do dito in our podcast? Now, let me tell you guys, na alam ko minsan sabi ng tao, eto na naman si Richard, pagod na naman, tapos magpo-podcast siya ng gabi, parang we're getting leftovers, yung mga ganun, may mga ganun comment pa na napaka-insensitive at saka napaka-unfair. I hope people realize that we're doing this almost on a daily basis with the exception of the Sabbath day and the holy days, of course. After all, we have to respect the sanctity of certain moments in our life. Hindi naman pwede trabaho parati. But we work as hard as we can. Sabi nga ni Gretchen, di ba? Very hardworking resident analyst and host tuloy na inis si Sir Ronald. Kasi si Sir Ronald, nagpapa-interview sa lahat ng platforms, right? And ang dami pa rin nagtatanong, biglang lumitaw daw out of nowhere. But I think he's doing a very great job. Now, just to be honest, in my case, now I know that hindi naintindihan ng mga walang hiyang bayaran ng mga vloggers yan. Hindi naintindihan ng mga bayaran ng mga third grade, pretentious scholars yan, whatever. But guys, I hope people understand how difficult it is to wear many hats at the same time. Tayo po ay nagtuturo sa sa, the leading university in the country at graduate school level. I have to produce journal articles. I'm working on academic manuscript books. I'm working on op-eds for leading publications on earth. And hindi ko sinasabi yan na payabang lang. I mean, this is something I worked so hard for throughout my 20s, no? To be able to be in a position to have a voice in leading newspapers, in leading organizations, speaking engagements all around the world. This year, multiple trips, to Japan, Tokyo, Osaka, trips to Berlin, trips across Europe, meeting officials, very high level officials, chancellors, ambassadors, ministers, leading experts in India, attending a summit with the finance minister and the foreign minister, including yung anak niya na kaibigan ko si Dhruva Jaishankar, and congratulations to my good friend Dhruva for his new book, tracing India's foreign policy evolution throughout the decade. So, guys, I hope people understand. Not to mention, of course, yung ating television show, One News, The View from Manila, One News TV5. Salamat sa lahat mga nanood. I hope you check the latest episode we have. Interview natin with the new European Union ambassador to the Philippines. Pinag-usapan natin Ukraine, pinag-usapan natin ang Gaza and China and West Philippine Sea. I hope people also realize, no, we managed to also have very high level, interviews with Foreign Minister Sikorski of Poland, who's set to become the next president of Poland. We had interview with Secretary of Foreign Affairs Manalo. We're looking forward to more interviews with high level officials. Who knows? Maybe BBM at some point in time. Maybe the president. Maybe other foreign leaders again, as I've interviewed in the past. So tuloy-tuloy lang ito mga ginagawa natin. So pasensya na if sometimes I look tired, I don't look my best, but we got day jobs to do, right? And those day jobs, they're not only about sustaining ourselves, they're also about giving meaning to our life. That's where we get our credibility and authority and all. Now, speaking of credibility and authority, obviously we don't get everything 100% right. Obviously we don't control all variables, but to the best of our abilities, ang ginagawa po natin dito is to impart at least critical thinking, to impart a sense of nationhood, to impart a sense of the big picture, to impart a sense of connections between different elements in our politics, in our society and economics. To also lay out, guys, to lay out ano yung mga possible, ano yung mga coordinates of possibility. So, hindi po yun madali. It's one thing to give one brilliant lecture here and there, and I try to do my best, and you're free to check, lectures natin all around the world, Harvard, Stanford, Johns Hopkins, whatever, Berkeley. But it's another thing to do this every single day, and to sometimes risk making yourself look like a fool, to stick to stick out your neck, really, to really engage in high stake debates. Hindi naintindihan ng tao na hindi po madali na bawat araw almost, no, ay parang marami kang babanggain, mga malalaking pangalan, mga trolls nila, mga supporters nila, mga fanatics. Minsan na ang sakit yung mga sinasabi nila. Minsan napaka walang hiya yung mga accusations ng mga bayaran na vloggers yan. Especially for a person like me. I don't come from a big privileged family, but I come from a professional background family as a middle class and at some point upper middle class family. Mahalaga po sa aming pamilya ang integridad from my forefathers, from my mother's side. So, sometimes it's just sad that that's what we have to deal with. Na yung iba dahil nasaktan yung emotions nila, yung iba dahil nabayaran sila, iba dahil may ulterior motives. They'll do anything to try to bring you down, to demolish you, to demoralize you, no? And to poison the well of discourse and discussions. At the same time, guys, I hope naintindihan, no? There's a reason why we engage in humor, and it's dark humor, it's satire, it's parody, right? So, actually over the past few days, I've been going deep into Gramsci, but also into Frederick Jameson, his notions of postmodernism. I think people tend to forget, ang ginagawa po natin dito is not pastiche, right? I know a lot of yung mga haters, critics, mga bunch of loser, irrelevant people say, oh, ito si Richard, nagsasayaw, pinagtatawanan niya yung sarili niya, or they don't understand. That's not pastiche, that's parody. And there's a very big difference between pastiche and parody, right? Because in pastiche, ito yung kachipan, ito yung trash, ito yung doing things for the sake of doing things, right? Ito yung doing things just because, you want to get attention or whatever. What people don't understand, including haters, including willful haters or whatever, is that what we're trying to do here is a parody, right? Pinapakita natin na gaano ka ridiculous yung ating politika. Pinapakita natin na gaano ka rotten yung core ng ating political system. Pinapakita natin yung impunity ng ating mga political leaders. Imagine mo, isang tao na ito ay booking na booking sa mga anomalous activities, anomalous practices, allegedly corruption, allegedly EJKs, etc. And then the next thing you know, nagpapasayaw, nagsayaw-sayaw, nagpapacute. So actually what we do is, we do parody, right? We're showing how ridiculous the system is. And I mean, if they can just say, wala kaming pake sa inyo, we'll just do what we want, then we'll do also the same thing to them. So that we'll show that these people are not beyond reproach, no? Na hindi dapat sila magkaroon ng impunity, right? So sometimes you need to use dark humor to expose the inanity, I won't say insanity, but inanity of the system. And then sometimes, of course, you also have to deal with people na hindi ko lang kaepalan ng pinagsasabi nila. Like, some people don't understand or deliberately misunderstand what we're doing. Of course, nagkataon kung mga lalaki kami nagsasama, we say things in a certain way. But criticizing Sara Duterte, per se, and questioning her competence because of her really um, peculiar behavior, that's not misogyny. That's not misogyny. Let's not stretch things. Let's not be ridiculous. Let's not weaponize the toxic masculinity discourse. How many times on this show we mentioned na we are also against misogyny? That actually we have a certain degree of sympathy with Sarah when it comes to the issue of misogyny. That there are things she cannot do because she's not her father. But to say that, when we question her competence and etc., that we're being misogynist, that's absolutely ridiculous. Any person who says that should be ashamed of themselves. Either they're intellectually deficient or there's something else going on here. Because, just to be clear, we also questioned how many years kinwestiyon natin competence of Digong. Kung si Digong ay, okay pa, di ba? So, let's not twist things. So we have had to deal with a lot of nonsense, a lot of trash there, a lot of people who cannot see the difference between pastiche and parody. And at the same, people who cannot understand how difficult it is to do what we do every single day, over and over again, huge number of audience, and of course with the tens of thousands of positive comments that come in every month, every week, sometimes every day, also come hundreds, right? Hundreds and hundreds of very, very mean and demeaning and yung mga kabastusan and all of that. So you have to be able to hold your line. You have to be able to hold your own. You have to be able to sustain a sense of joy and energy and all of that. And of course, may mga panahon na talagang exhausted tayo, enervated tayo, and I'm not sure, it's like, I want to do something else. I have to focus on my other work, and I'll try to do that. And of course, I think as we enter the final hours of the year, we also have to have some reflections. And of course, kasama siguro dyan sa reflection na yan, inisip ko nga, try to relax a little bit more, try to be a little bit more of parody than just, all the time just going serious and trying to fight back and strike down any unfair or hater kind of comment, etc. And more than that, of course, mahalaga rin na you look at the big picture. What we're doing here should be part of a bigger thing. So kaya, desidito pa rin tayo na tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung mga ibang engagements natin, whether ito yung mga libro na gusto natin tapusin or sinusulat natin, whether ito yung mga serious scholarly work we're looking at. So, I don't know kung may mga ibang nagpatapapatama sa atin, whether kabilang channels or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, let's not forget, guys, we produce academic books, journal articles, all of those things. We have a Google Scholar and all of that. So, I hope some of other people, before they try to throw the cheap shots, they can match us even at 10% of the kind of serious scholarly work we're trying to put out there. And not only, the interviews with the leading media outlets, etc. And the reason we're saying this is, hindi dahil sinasabi natin tayo lang magaling, tayo lang tama, ganun. Hindi. Ang sinasabi po natin is, pinagtrabuhan po natin to reach where we are. And that credibility and authority matters. Credibility and authority doesn't mean you get 100% right everything or 100% right all predictions, because prediction is very, very difficult in complex systems. Anyone who knows about how complex systems operate vis-a-vis linear systems. So everything we're doing here, guys, is a learning process. Is a learning process about how can we impart learning and critical thinking, but at the same time, paano tayo makapag-usap sa ating mga kababayan. Now, of course, I'm not here to exaggerate yung reach ng ating platforms. Obviously, I'm active on multiple platforms. Obviously, we're trying to expand our engagement with some people, with more and more people. Obviously, try natin na collaborating with more people in order to be able to get the message out. And at the same time, of course, and just to be clear, the reason I'm going back to Antonio Gramsci a lot is because at the end of the day, guys, hindi lang sapat na magkaroon tayo ng magagaling na leaders, na presidente na magaling lang. Dapat talaga magkakaroon tayo, guys, ng comprehensive changes doon sa ating pag-iisip. And this is where I think the crux of my discussion comes in today. One of the things na ginagawa po natin dito is this. Ang sinasabi po natin is marami tayong mga problema sa ating bayan, unfortunately. But that should not be a cause for giving up. Because if the problems in the country look so overwhelming, right? Then ang tao, they'll feel hopeless. They'll feel helpless, right? And they will disengage. Kaya ito po yung disagreement natin sa ibang grupo na puro mga ginagawa lang nila. Sasabihin nila, hopeless ng Philippines. Ito yung problema, ito yung problema. You see, that kind of approach doesn't get you anywhere. Either you get depressed or cynical or just irrelevant. The approach that could work is this. Sasabihin mo sa tao, ito po yung problema, pero may solution din yan. Pero at the same time, guys, don't give people false hope. And that's where intellectual maturity, political maturity comes in. False hope is where you pretend there's a solution to a problem when when the problem itself is not properly understood, or the solution you provide is an overnight solution. Yan ang ayaw po natin dito. Budul-budul lang. Right? Yung idea na maniwala lang kayo, basta trust me bro, di ba? Yung Tatay Digong style, akong bahala 6 months, ganun. You know, that should have been a wake-up call. At the same time, guys, dapat tanggapin natin, marami po na nangyayari sa ating bansa ay symptoms ng past failures. I think we have to be very honest na our institutions have failed on so many levels. Most especially, I would say, and most consequentially, our educational system has failed at the highest levels. But basically, I would say, from the very beginning, the basic education system, primary education system natin. So, yung politically maturity na nakita natin, continued fanaticism na nakita natin, I think all of those are symptoms of the failures we have had. So, ang trabaho po natin dito is not to defend failed institutions, not to insist that everything is right. And yun yung problema natin with quote-unquote dilawan friends who sometimes parang ostrich strategy na they bury their head in the sand and pretend everything. No. Hindi lang disinformation po nangyari niyan. Talagang nagkaroon tayo ng kapalpakan. Talagang nagkaroon tayo ng kakulangan. Talagang kailangan natin ng tunay na pagbabago, pero hindi yung maladigong, maladidies na malabudol. What we need is a significant radical transformation in the good direction. Right? Kailangan natin ayusin yung education system natin. Kaya mahalaga, maganda yung ginagawa natin mga kaibigan natin ngayon na sobrang active dito sa budget issues, sa DepEd issue. Ako, of course, also DND issue. Dahil, of course, DepEd, dahil, I teach at UP, I teach in a public university, I care about education, but also I'm active on West Philippine Sea issue. May pake ako when there's a 30% reduction in the supposed allocated fund for AFP modernization. All of those things matter to me. So we have to be involved. We have to be involved. We have to continue this kind of involvement and all of that. And we have to continue to support each other, right? In a little way, di ba? In fairness naman, hindi lang tayo keyboard warrior. In a sense, alam naman natin yung mga pinag-usapan natin dito na pag-usapan na rin ng mga decision makers. I know for a fact that whether it's senators, whether it's cabinet members, whether it's ex-presidents or whatever, they listen to what we say. They take note of what we say. They may not agree, they may hate what we say, they may get irritated what we say, but they listen to us. So nagkaroon po tayo ng plataforma dito. And this platform for me is important. This platform for me is special. And it has become special because of you guys, because of your continued support. So please continue to support us in whichever you can, including through prayers and goodwill and good wishes, because we need that good vibes. We need that kind of good inspiration. Para, magkaroon tayo ng, lakas ng loob, no? Para hindi tayo madismaya sa lahat ng mga trolling, sa lahat ng mga bullying. Ay, Picasso, ba't pa ka binalik dito? Sa lahat ng trolling, sa lahat ng bullying, sa lahat ng mga nakakainis na bagay na nangyari sa ating bansa, diba? So thank you so much guys again for that support. Again, as I said, 2024 was a fascinating year politically speaking. you saw a dramatic decline in the fortunes of both House of Marcos and House of Duterte. Nagkaroon talaga ng mutual destruction yung dalawa na yan. Perhaps that explains why BBM was always hesitant to take on the Dutertes all out, because he knew that by mutual assured destruction, kumbaga may mad logic between the two sides, and then sometimes things got a little bit mad and out of control. And yeah, I mean, Sara Duterte's net approval just above 20%. The same thing with BBM. These are dismal numbers compared to ex-presidents, to other Dutertes, to other, to other presidents, even other vice presidents in the past. No, so nagkaroon ng mutual destruction yung dalawa. But what does that mean for others? As I said, the Tulfos are making big out of what's happening there. Although, let's see with the case of Erwin, because there are issues about yung passport niya, American passport, whatever. Let's see how things will move on that front. But nevertheless, Patokan Tulfos, Rafi Tulfo is now a front runner sa Okta survey. Ahead na siya, statistically tied sa Pulse Asia. I expect that to move ahead. But as I said, Riza Ontiveros has been doing fantastically well. Breakout star, winning over people across the political spectrum. Na wala na yung stigma na progressive siya, social democrat siya, etc. People are looking at her based on her own merits and what she brings to the table. Lenny Robredo really showed what a comeback queen she is, that she is still a formidable figure in Philippine politics, that there's tremendous amount of residual charisma and influencer. And I do believe that if Lenny wants, she can reactivate a 2.0 version of the pink movement in the coming years. And let's not forget, guys, in many ways yung meron tayo dito ngayon, in many ways, right? Alam natin probably 70%, right? 70-80% ng ating mga supporters ay one way or another ay sympathetic sa pink movement. And that's not because dilawan, that's not because, hate ang Dutertes or Marcos. No, because we hate bad governance. We hate corruption. We hate abuse of power. We hate extrajudicial killings. We hate treason. We hate mga tuta ng mga dayuhan. We hate those things. And what we love is at least a chance for our country to make finally some moves in the right direction, because we deserve it. We can do it. A lot of our supporters come from all across the world. May mga followers tayo in Hong Kong, in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai. Hindi si Harry Roque. In Morocco. On Spotify, I checked it. We have followers from more than 120 territories, including some of the territories that I heard about for the first time. Very small islands, Caribbean islands or whatever. Like even less known than Vanuatu, for instance, right? That just tells you na marami sa ating mga kabayan na may pag-asa pa rin sa ating bayan. Na marami sa ating mga kabayan ay umasa pa rin na gumanda ang ating bayan. Marami sa ating mga kabayan ay successful all around the world. Successful all around the world. And pwede ka man here. And they see some rays of hope. At nakikita nila na siguro naman, kung we get just a few things together, this country can do better. At yun po yung tinitignan natin dito. We are exploring the parameters of possibility. We are exploring what is doable. We are exploring what didn't work and what could work. I think it's time for us to realize na hindi natin pwede pilitin yung mga failed ways. Yung mga half-baked na pahapyaw, na reformism, na pa-cute, na pa-decente, ganun, di na mag-work yan. What we need is palaban, partagulan, radical, transformative, progressive change. Yun pong kailangan natin. And at the same time, yes, of course, we still need decency. Whether you look at Risa, Lenny, they still are our embodiment of decency, embodiment of public servant ethics, embodiment of meritocracy. But as I said, dapat palaban din tayo. Dapat we see more people from younger generation. From my generation, millennial, wala pang kahit isang senador. Although I don't know if Camille Villar will fix that. But I'm not sure I want to bet on that. So, ang dami natin underrepresentation with the younger generation. Actually, one of my frustration is, not on Facebook, but on other platform, particularly on YouTube, napansin ko, ang konti po yung followers natin na from younger generation. Karamihan po ng followers natin, I have nothing against it. Thank you so much for supporting us, our Gen X or Boomer generation, and some of them older millennials like yours truly. We need to reach out to more Generation Z, right? Generation Z, and down the road Generation Alpha. And that's why I'm trying to get more active on TikTok. Medyo nakita ko na talagang ino-operate na yung TikTok natin kasi things were moving very well I was doing very well for a few days, few months actually on TikTok. And then suddenly nakita ko na talagang mukhang tinatarget na talaga yung TikTok account natin. So I had to put some filter, etc. Kasi nagiging bastos na talaga. Problema, parang hindi na natanggal yung filter niya for some reason. But whatever. Obviously, when you put the filters and all of that, it affects your engagement and all. Pero tuloy-tuloy pa rin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. We want to reach some of the minimum level of following we want to have on TikTok. So please don't forget to follow us on TikTok. We post mga shorter version editions of our discussion, yung mga walking version, etc. So check it out, Richard Haydarian, right? 007. Libre lang mag-follow dito sa TikTok, and be more than, feel free, guys. Feel free to give us advice. Feel free to, give us ideas about how we can become more engaging and all of that. But at the same time, please don't forget, guys. Please don't forget. Marami pa tayong mga ibang responsibilities. Marami pa tayong mga ibang kailangan gawin. So, unfortunately, sometimes, there's just so much I can do in terms of adjustments and all. Nakita ko may mga comments about yung technical issues about our Spotify, etc. Well, we're not there yet. Unfortunately, wala pa tayo at the level of having a production team. It's just so expensive. Before, when I was looking for sponsors, and unfortunately none of the sponsors responded eventually. I mean, they were looking at between 100,000 to 150,000 production for one single episode of podcast, right? No way, man. No way. So we had to do this as much as we could on our own. And, but at some point we want to have more and more professionalization and production level, kind of approach to this. I'm glad that yung year-ender natin with Justice Scorpio and Sir Ronald kind of went well. We were able to put some sort of videography and some basics together. We want to do more of that. We want to do that at a higher level, because I believe great conversations deserve great production. But more than production level, what's important is the content. But hopefully, as that content gets consolidated and crystallized, gusto natin pagandaan sana yung production and all of that. So thank you so much again for your support. Believe me, every ounce of support you put into our little show goes in one way or another into investment in doing more of this, not only alone but with others. And I'll say this for the nth time, I've been absolutely open to collaboration with anyone. Wala naman tayong insecurity or wala naman anything with any of other podcasters. As I said, if there's one person I consider as my true rival in a good way, in a healthy way, that's Dr. Lisandro Claudio of University of Berkeley, in terms of being prolific in academic publications, in popular interventions, and being just makulit and iconoclast and all. So actually, when it comes to other podcasters and all in the Philippines especially, I'm super happy that they're doing very well, no? And I'm glad that there's more and more collaboration happening, and looking forward to more of that collaboration. Now, if some of them are not open to it, or some of them have issues or insecurity or whatever, that's none of my business. It's not my loss. We'll just do what we have to do, and we'll just push what we have to push. So I also hope people just continue to support us, whoever we are, podcasters, because at the end of the day, meron na tayong options, meron na tayong lakas, meron na tayong panglaban. YouTube is no longer the purview of the fake news, maharlika type of clownery, right? No, meron din tayong pangbanat sa kanila. Meron din tayong laban sa kanila. Facebook, wala na. Mga kausan, wala na mga yan. Twitter, it's not even close. Even with Elon Musk there and all, walang laban yung mga alt-right dito sa Pilipinas. Pathetic numbers. Their engagement levels are not even hundredth of ours. So it really leaves TikTok. And that's why, me being me, I'm not going to leave any field open to the enemy. And we're going to fight them also on TikTok. But we need your support in order to be able to sustain that kind of momentum. And TikTok will be important, yes, because of demographic, because Gen Zs are going to be there, and because it's just so easy to produce on TikTok. It's like 1 minute, blah blah blah, and then you post it and you get them like 300,000, 500,000, 1 million, millions of views. You don't even need to have many followers. So there's a different thing about this algorithm. Obviously, I have a burner phone for my TikTok because I don't trust the Chinese account, Chinese technology and all of that. But we have to do what we have to do. So as you see, walang notes, dire-diretso lang sinasabi ko, because this comes from deep in my heart. So, yun lang. At the same time, I still do believe that we did the right thing when we called out people. We did the right thing by pushing back. We did the right thing by criticizing all sides, even if that got us a lot of hatred and bashing and all of that. Because the Lord knows that someone has to call out any side if there's certain certain things that have been breached and certain values and all of that. And if sometimes ako ay nag-overreact, ako ay nag-aggressive and all of that, put yourself in my shoes. I'm not a politician. I'm not a big figure. This is my little production, little podcast and all. And when you're just one person and there are like thousands of haters and all coming in, sometimes you snap, sometimes you overreact, sometimes my friendly fire. But I try to be as apologetic and try to recalibrate as much as possible. So I hope all of those elements are taken in consideration when we're trying to look at what we do. As I said, even if ayaw ng ibang tao, how we say things on our podcast, yung mga pakit daw, whatever, look at the content. Look at what we're doing. Look at the fact that we're at least providing some sort of an alternative for other people. Some sort of a chance for people to have some exposure. Obviously, I don't do my like full-blown, lectures on, I don't know, Hegelian dialectics or historical materialism or, industrial policy here. But we give you glimpses. We give you glimpses. What could be a kind of an informed, even sometimes scholarly understanding of important policy issues in this country. So please continue to pray and support us because we need that. Because sometimes it gets so tiring and frustrating, and sometimes because we need as much energy as possible para tuloy-tuloy lang yan. So Happy New Year, advance Happy New Year to everyone. I know some of you are in different parts of the world, whether it's Florida, whether it's in England, whether it's in Europe. So medyo matagal pa kayo. Yung ibang relatives natin, to yung isa pang lola natin in Hawaii, sister ng lola natin, also my prayers and love to you, to our family, Tito Richards in Hawaii. So we have relatives in across all time zones. So medyo maya pa sila mag New Year, pero tayo sa Pilipinas few hours na lang mag New Year na, and we're in the final hours of 2024. Thank you so much for making a tough, challenging year not only meaningful and memorable, but in many ways still very inspirational. And as we head into 2025, which is going to be a year of elections, a year of finally maybe ICC will come in, the year of Donald Trump. So many things are in store. We need your support, guys. We need your moral support and all sorts of different supports para tuloy-tuloy lang tayo dahil tao lang tayo at the end of the day. For everything we say, for everything we do, for every payabang, whatever pathetic thing we do recognize deep inside na tao lang po tayo. So maraming salamat. God bless you. And talk to you soon. And don't forget to check us out on different platforms on Spotify. Na-upload na po yung mga latest episodes natin on YouTube also. Not only episodes, but also highlights of episode, different slices. If ever you're bored to go through the whole hour or two, you can look at the highlights and all of that. Check them out. In-effort po natin yan. In-upload natin yan. In-edit natin yan. Pinipili natin yan. So just your views. Just you making some clicks. It's really, really important for us. Maraming salamat. God bless. And talk to you soon. Maraming salamat again for all your support, and please, may you have a lovely time with your family and loved ones. Salamat. God bless. Happy New Year.